secret mechanic should be both of you to oil up so you get busted. If this episode hits 20,000 likes, we will do an episode oiled up. Episode 3 when? Episode 3 now. Welcome to the next episode of the SquadCast. I am FullFrontage, joined by In Chat. And how are you doing today, man?
I am doing great. Episode 3, honestly, everybody loved episode 1 and episode 2, so Why not? We're going to continue it out.
Yep, and it was really funny because we got some comments on our first episode about a SquadCast podcast that's actually happening over in the German language from Psycho and Ulik. So if you guys do speak German, definitely go check them out and see what they have to say. It was such like a crazy coincidence because they did that, and because we don't speak German, we're not looking at German content, so we actually had no idea that existed. And we've been talking about this at the point we're recording this, it had to be over a month since we were talking about doing a SquadCast, a Squad Busters podcast. So it was just really weird in like how that all played out, which is really funny because it was like, whoa, it's the literally exact same thing, which is hilarious.
Yeah, no, we had no idea, but if you do speak German, please go check them out on Psycho and Ulik's channels.
Yep.
We'll leave a link for them
in the description. Yep.
As well.
Yep. All right. So, a lot of people, man, the talk of the town, consumables. It's been a hot topic in the community. And, the game's been out for just over a week now, almost 2 weeks. And we're still talking about it, so let's dive right into it. I mean, the consumables that we're looking at are keys and megas. Those are the big ones. And honestly, it feels so weird because I did a video just the other day about like free to play versus pay to play. In one game I used consumables, and the other game I didn't. I didn't touch them. No keys, no megas, no nothing. And I placed first in both. And I think other people were using consumables in that game. It's not like super groundbreaking, but they just don't make sense. Like, I think that's the biggest thing is like, it just doesn't make sense. What has your experience been with the consumables so far?
So far the consumables, honestly, getting an early fusioned unit is such a huge advantage in my opinion, right? I think the regular chests aren't really that big of an advantage, right? Like getting one more chest. But if you can get a fusioned unit, especially fusioning and then just re-rolling as well, getting the unit that kind of you want with that fusion chest, it's kind of one of those things where you could end up with like a fusion Nita or, something that's ridiculously strong early, and that's going to be really oppressive to be able to deal with. And I think it's more of a concern to me where the fusion keys early are just such a heavy advantage that it's really going to skew it. And as I climb higher and higher, it gets even worse and worse. Like if you don't use it, it feels a little bit harder to win the match or get back into it and everything like that. And I just feel, and I'm super concerned is when we're high up into the squad league and everything like that, where you have every single person either using a consumable or not. And I just feel like once everybody's equal skill level or very close to equal skill level, I think these chests are going to play an even bigger role. Right now, we just have, people who are just playing the game a lot, not, amazing at the game yet because it just came out. And I think once the skill level gets to, a certain point, I think that's when we're going to find a really big issue with these chests.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the leaderboards now, somebody's at the leaderboard with almost 10,000 trophies, and they played 1,700 games. Like, the second place, so this 9,000 at the time of recording. It's 9,886 is the first place. Oh my have you looked at the leaderboards?
I haven't looked at the leaderboards in like a day and a half.
How far behind do you think second place is?
First guy's got how much?
9,886.
6,000? 6,500?
6,061. They are 3,825 trophies behind the person in first place. right
That's
now.
33%, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's insane. That is a crazy amount.
What? No, actually, no. Hold on. Sorry. That's 50% more. Wow. What? That's wild. You see, I only said that because you made it seem like it was a huge gap. Otherwise, that would have been like 8,000, you know.
No, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And yeah, talking about the consumables at the higher level, I personally we kind of briefly touched upon this in the first couple episodes, but consumables should be something that if they're introduced as a comeback mechanic, then that's exactly what it should be. And a couple ideas that we talked about in that, and I actually wrote some ideas down, was the keys should almost be like, if the keys are meant to be a comeback mechanic, then make them that. Don't make them a consumable thing that can be purchased. Instead, if somebody fights a squad and wins a fight, and depending on how many squad members that they lose, if they lose one squad member and you win the fight, then you get the free key. If you lose two squad members, then you get the epic key. If you lose a fusion unit, then you get a fusion key. So that way, when you get rewarded for going after that fight and not being so far punished so badly that somebody can just come in and third party. Because I had this situation happen to me where it was a really close fight. We each had like 2 or 3 fusions in our squad, and I ended up coming out on top because I had more boots. So I was able to attack quicker. I was able to maneuver my spells. I was able to maneuver around and hit their ranged units instead of solely focusing on their El Primo, Nita Bear, and Barbarian that they had up front. So that's a super important tactic, is just like moving around and being able to position and hit those range units. But then after that fight, I was only left with like 4 members left, 1 fusion and 3 regulars. And then somebody came in and just third partied me, and I got absolutely destroyed because all I got from that fight was a single free key, a single free unit. That didn't help me at all. I lost over half my squad, and then I just got punished for it. So I think consumables need to be changed into this like comeback mechanic, and have the different keys are fine, but I think it's just the way that players are rewarded them needs to be changed in game and be brought in as more of a comeback mechanic than something you can pay for an additional. Because one of the things we're looking at is, if you look at consumables, think about like if you were able to just purchase your hypercharge instantly in Brawl Stars. Like, that feels weird. Or if you're able to purchase an extra gadget slot to be able to use gadgets. Like, imagine you could just continuously, every minute of the match, you could just buy another gadget slot. Or in Clash Royale, if you're able to buy elixir to be able to, oh, I just spent all my elixir on a push. Oh, it's no problem. I can just buy more and defend with that instead. Like, it just changes the whole core play of the game. And when you put it into perspective like that, it feels a little bit weird. So I don't think the keys themselves are that broken or pay to win. I just think the idea of consumables just doesn't make sense. And that's just keys alone. We'll dive into megas in a bit. But what are you thinking about the keys?
So the keys are an issue for me because just you mentioned Clash Royale, right? And I think the best analogy to that would be is a Golem player in Clash Royale waits, plays, is just pretty much farming up all game. In essence, is really waiting for the double elixir time, waits for that to happen, fends off a push on defense, and then puts down his Golem. So he's already ahead in elixir, right? When you're probably going to put down that Golem, and then you're putting down the Golem, and then you're instantly buying back the elixir immediately to place down another troop. So now you're going to have an entire Golem advantage on your opponent. Yep. And then it's a whole nother unit. Like, how are you supposed to stop that push? And that's kind of what Squad Busters is where, okay, I've been farming all game. It almost even rewards you for playing with characters like Greg and Mavis and just farming all game and then just buying chests. Like, I'm farming with Greg. I'm farming with Mavis all game. I'm just going to run around the entire map, not do anything, collect all my blue chests, buy a fusion key right off of the bat, then just buy some chests to continue to go. And then all of a sudden, my army's huge at the end. And if anybody else fought at any point, because this is my experience, is if I fight or if somebody comes and attacks me and just makes me run around the first minute and a half of the match, it's really hard to even finish in top 5. And that feels so bad. And I can even use fusion keys if I want. And it doesn't matter at that point. I am so far behind that if I lose a fusion unit in one of those fights, guess what? I don't care how many gems and how much gold I get from you. That fusion unit was 3 chests of the same one. And even if I get a fusion chest, it just replenishes the unit that I lost. So there has to be a better comeback mechanic system to where I know somebody mentioned this in one of my videos. It said something to the extent of character revival, where your characters come back to life after a certain amount of time. And at first I didn't like it at all, but it's almost at the point where I'm starting to feel like that might be the only way where you can encourage fighting early, to where if you do lose 1 or 2 units, yes, you still lose the gems for that and the gold, so you can still fight. Whoever wins that fight still going to get the gold advantage and the gem advantage, but their troops are going to come back. So you could fight somebody who a lot of people have been complaining to me and saying, because I said Greg is the worst character inside of Squad Busters, or one of the worst, and everybody's saying to me, no, he's not. And how can I disagree with them when you could just play Greg and then Mavis, farm, use fusion keys and use keys and have a huge army at the end of the game? And if I took one fight, I'm never beating that army no matter how hard I try.
Yeah, definitely agree. And the keys need to be a comeback mechanic, like a true comeback mechanic. So hopefully the team looks into that, and hopefully the team is able to address it. I mean, the team's not naive, right? Like they know what's happening in their game. So I have a feeling we'll probably hear about some things soon. They're probably trying to figure out the best way to implement it and the best way to change it. So we'll hear something soon, I'm sure. And of course, when that day comes, we'll notify you guys on our channel. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. But now talking about the second part of the consumables, which is the mega units. The mega units, currently there are only 2 in the game, so it doesn't really feel that bad. But 2 problems I have with megas. One is you spend time to unlock them, progressing them through squad journey, through the gem pass, whatever it might be. And then you use them, and then as soon as those resources are depleted, the only other way you can get them is buying them from the shop. Like as soon as you pass those free-to-play points on the squad journey and in the gem pass, you're out of megas. You can't get any more. So that's the first problem I have with it. The second one is you can have multiple in one game. I really don't like that. I think it needs to be limited to 1 mega because the megas are just really strong. Now, I have a couple ideas. One of them I'm not so fond of. The other one I'm leaning a little bit more towards, but I've seen this in a couple comments as well. But what if megas became 3 fusions? So when you fuse 3 characters, you get a fusion unit. But what if when you fuse 3 fusion units, you get a mega? This way, it's very difficult to get. You have to pour all your resources into one specific unit. So they probably would have to change megas to make them more viable. I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing to do, but it does make sense as like the next step for characters in the game. But the other idea that I'm more fond of is making megas almost like fragments, like they're like pieces that you collect. And then once you collect X amount, then you unlock that mega. And then that mega is always available to you in the match. So once you unlock a mega, it's permanently unlocked. When you open a chest, there's always an option to select that mega. And it'll say, so there's a button that says mega, you click it and it pops up with all of your mega units. So however many there are in the game, if there's 20 at one point, then there's 20. Maybe when it gets to that point, there's like a preset of megas you can choose to bring in. There's a preset of 3, you choose 3 megas, they go into the match with you. And then once you choose that 1 mega, you have it. That's it. If it dies, that's it. You can't call in another one. Like you used it, that's it, you're done. But the strategy with that is depending on who uses their mega first, you might be able to pick a counter that you have to it. So for example, if El Tigre comes out and say there's a Mega Colt is probably going to be doing a ton of damage. You see an El Tigre, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to take Colt so I can help burst this down as quickly as possible and give myself the upper hand. So then it becomes a response strategy in that. And maybe to counter that, megas are unavailable to use after, like when there's a minute 30 left, as soon as that clock hits a minute 30, no more megas can be summoned. So then that way you can't like just wait until the end game and then just last chest like pick out a new mega and then just destroy everybody in the map. So there's certain things that can be done to like limit the RNG aspect and also kind of create a more balanced environment when it comes to megas, and also having the players feel rewarded when they do get megas.
Yeah, so I really like those ideas. My idea for what a mega would be, because I think a lot of people don't realize that a Mega Primo is not the most HP inside of the game. I think everybody probably thought that that is. It's actually the Barbarian King, believe it or not, when that's fused up. So that's the first thing. So the Megas aren't as strong as we think they are. Granted, they're very, very strong because of their ability. But as far as their base stats are concerned, they're not like super overpowered.
Yep.
So I think the main thing about the mega units is we need to really separate the mega units from the regular units. And right now it's by skill, right? So the Dragon Chicken's all about speed. The Mega El Primo is all about, stunning and, just dropping on people. So I think that there should be a way to unlock megas, but however, you need a fused unit of that type to be able to unlock it. So you're either going to need a fused chicken or a fused El Primo to unlock the ability in one of your next chests to then upgrade it to either a Dragon Chicken or an El Primo. So now you're actually almost losing a little bit on the stats wise, but you're gaining that extra skill. So now realistically, it's 4 El Primos you would need to summon a mega unit, which is much better than 3 El Primos get you a fusion, and then you have a mega unit on top of that fusioned El Primo. So it's like, there has to be a way where a mega unit just can't come into the game as an addition to your army and then just take over the map, right? You need to sacrifice something in order to get it. Even, like, I understand if you're behind and, like, that's the comeback mechanic. I just don't think that that should be a comeback mechanic. I think that that should be a feature inside of the game that you build towards, right? So every single match, as it's starting, you're almost encouraged to look at other squads throughout the entire match, see what they're kind of building, see where you can get as far as, your RNG during that match to get your mega unit. Obviously, there's going to be more, like you said, Mega Colt, that eventually is probably going to be megas for every unit at some point. So I think that that is something that needs to happen instead of just giving a mega unit, even where mega units are right now, for a single chest to give you a mega unit is just really strong. Just like a fusion giving you like a fusion epic is really, really strong. I think that megas definitely need to get changed and focus more on the skill of the mega being the power rather than, it just being this one big unit that just clobbers everything.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point too, is maybe there needs to be a certain criteria that you have to meet in the match. Like you mentioned, like getting 4 El Primos that turns into the mega, because the megas aren't that much stronger than their fusion counterparts. At least what we currently have in terms of like HP and damage. Their abilities is what separates them. So there has to be some sort of middle ground that we as a community could figure out, or that the dev team could even figure out just by listening to all the ideas from the community. So if you have any further ideas of what you guys would like to see for Consumables, let us know down in the comments section below. And last time we did also talk about some new characters that we would like to see, and we want to feature some of those comments as well. So one of the first comments that we saw was, would love to see if they added Crow into Squad Busters, or maybe Knight and Executioner. Those are very interesting ones. Crow, ability to poison and slow, really like that. The Knight, high DPS. Executioner, good splash damage.
I don't want to see Executioner, not gonna lie, or Bowler.
You know what?
Imagine an Executioner throwing something through your entire army. My phone would be broken.
Hold on. Bowler is in the game, but it's a monster. So maybe Executioner can just be a monster.
Yeah, it's got to be a monster that you have to avoid as it throws it, because imagine that thing coming through your entire army. You'd have to move, because you're not able to move and attack. So
but
I wouldn't.
there is a way you can actually get Bowler on your team.
True.
And it's through Mortis. That
is true.
So maybe Executioner will become a monster, and then you can bring him onto your army with Mortis. But Crow and Knight are very interesting, because Knight could be a defender, like Primo. I don't feel like we don't have a lot of really defenders in the game. So Knight would be a cool defender to have. And then Crow could be like a speedster type, and maybe he just poisons, so he's like anti-speedster. I don't know. So I thought those
I
were
feel like he
interesting.
could be like a max speed and just
Yeah.
start throw poison, like
Poison
slow
daggers,
poison,
yep.
or anti-heal daggers. So
Anti-heal.
instead of like poison being
Ooh.
damage, have it be anti-heal.
Ooh, or both. Like one of his abilities
Or both.
poison, and then in another form it's anti-heal. Changes from poison to anti-heal. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't. We'll see.
That could be.
Maybe. One of the other comments. Imagine if they added Leon to Squad Busters. His ability is when you summon him from a chest, your army becomes invisible for X amount of time.
Oh, I don't know if I like that.
That'd be dirty.
I don't know if I like that.
It would have to be. Maybe it could be like if you summon Leon from a chest. So here's a cool thing that could happen with Leon. So like this just popped into my head as we're talking about this baby form. When you spawn in Leon, it's similar to Max. You get a speed boost, quick speed boost. Okay. Then its classic ability is Leon. When you summon Leon from a chest, he becomes untargetable. So that way, Leon can now be used as an escape mechanic. So if you're getting pressured really hard and you go up to a chest and you summon, and Leon is one of your options, you could pull Leon and the opponent can't target you anymore, and you have the opportunity to escape. But it's only Leon.
Oh, okay, only
Leon. So like if you
have
a
super though.
Yeah, so if you have like Primo, Colt, and you're getting, and that's your only 2 units left, and then you run up to a chest and you get Leon, the opponent can still target Primo and Colt, but they can't target Leon.
Got it.
So
then what's the super form though? You're only at.
I haven't got that far yet. I literally just thought of
because if you were gonna say it makes your whole army invisible,
no.
So you're encouraging people to use the chest to buy the consumables, to use the chest. Leon, reroll. All right, we're out.
Nope. No, it wouldn't make the whole army invisible. That's too broken. But I think that'd be a pretty cool mechanic for Leon specifically. And it's also a good opportunity. It's like an escape artist skill, so that could be interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like Leon. He can definitely fit in here. I don't know how much I like Leon because of him going invisible.
Yeah, the team invisible, probably not.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like a little bit rough. Unless we had Bo, where you go into a bush and you can see all invisible units. I mean, that might, there's 4 and 5 that could be potential evolution. I mean, listen, then I might like Leon.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra forms are in the game right now. We have no idea what their abilities are. Bo's Ultra form could be he can spot invisible enemies.
Then you have to take a Bo. If people have Leon. I mean, then Leon, I would be okay with Leon having in the game.
Yeah.
I would.
So maybe Ultra forms or something that it feels like there's really endless possibilities with Squad Busters right now in terms of like the abilities and what can be added to the game. So I'm very curious. Somebody else also said Colette would be cool. So Colette has this thing where she does damage based on the HP percentage, or the HP. So she damages percentage based on how much HP they have. So when you have Colette, this would be interesting. If you're targeting a full health member of a squad, the first hit is going to hit hard. But then with Colette, it does lower damage. So Colette can be an engager where she does a crap ton of damage to her first target, and then she's kind of like a huge hit, and then your squad cleans up the rest. That might be interesting to see as well, like an interesting mechanic to have in your squad. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be good for current target HP percent damage.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be good. I think it would be hard only because you're not able to control Colette, but like, because here's the thing. If you're having like an El Primo or anything like that, like they usually struggle to get in front of a Hog Rider, a Chicken, a Goblin. Usually those are like the first line units. And I think if Colette wastes 2 or 3 attacks on those, I think it would be almost detrimental. But then again, there are other skill slots that could also make her viable as well.
Yep.
I do like that mechanic being in the game. maybe she could come and be like a tank buster. If we do have, a meta where you're just building like Barbarian, King, and all melee units like Barbarians, Primos, and just running at people like that. So I think it definitely is a good thing to have in the game. I would almost have it to be more of a percent max HP just damage. So max HP instead of current HP. So that if it's like a big Mega El Primo coming at you, she'll just be hitting it every single time with a lot of damage. But if she hits like a Colt or a Goblin, she'll be doing less damage to them.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. That would be a very interesting one. So those are 3 that I thought were really interesting to include. And another comment that we had: secret mechanic should be both of you to oil up so you get busted. If this episode hits 20,000 likes, we will do an episode oiled up. Are
You're just gonna put that out there? 20,000. That's all right. You know what? I'll agree. You know what? I'll agree with it.
I've seen.
Why not?
It happens. It happens on YouTube. It's never happened to me.
It never happened to me either. So where's the likes? So just press the button.
So you know what? If you want it to happen, y'all got to make it happen.
I'll tell you what. I'll even make it even sweeter.
Okay.
If it hits 30K, we'll do it together.
Okay.
Not like we'll do it like
in
so
person.
We'll go there and we'll make it. Yeah, we'll do like an in-person kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll do an in-person episode of the SquadCast oiled up.
Yes, in-person episode of Squad Busters.
Okay. There you go. There you have it.
There we go.
There it is. Make it happen. If you guys really want it, you'll make it happen. So.
I mean, 30K is not that much, right?
No. I mean,
no.
I've had videos hit 30K. It's
just every single person just needs to like it.
Every single person leaves a like. So, my light went out. One moment.
Oh, man.
I am surprised the green screen didn't freak out though.
Yeah, no, the green screen still looks good. Oh, what did the battery run out?
Yeah. I'm actually really shocked that the green screen didn't start appearing again.
True. Okay. How many ridiculous comments do you think we're gonna get, or clips that we're gonna get of me saying what I said taken out of context?
Oh, I hope hundreds.
Oiled up in person.
I hope.
I was like,
I hope this makes the Squad Busters subreddit.
I mean, you could clip that out, non-context of what I said, and it could be aggressive.
Now we just need SquadCast, no context, like accounts on socials.
That's it.
So somebody will make it happen.
Listen, I mean, with the game goes global, anything is possible, right?
And
I mean, it's going global, so
literally, we know it's going global. Yeah. And I do have to say, while we're talking about global, we'll touch upon this in a future episode, because I know we probably both have videos of things we want to see in the game. So once those videos come out, we can do an episode where we get feedback from you guys, the community. So leave your comments when those videos come out, probably within the next couple weeks, and we'll do an episode talking about the community's reaction to what needs to be changed for global. Obviously, we talked about a major point in this episode being consumables, but what are the other things that you guys want to see? And in the next episode on Enchatton's channel, we'll be covering game modes. So we'll be talking about different game modes and everything that need to be coming to Squad Busters, so that we think should be coming to Squad Busters. So if you guys want to tune into that episode, I'll leave a link to Enchatton's channel in the description. So go check it out, drop a sub over there. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to the SquadCast. And we'll see you all in the next one.